Hi, I'm Nicola White, Grace hockey athlete, Olympic gold medalist. It was during our last preparation games before the Commonwealth Games. A girl collided with the side of my head, just a freak collision. You know, obviously I was dazed, confused, very emotional, angry. Everything just seemed bright and loud. So initially lots of things like that, but the headaches had kind of just started the first few days. It wasn't until progressively over the next week that I kind of started to deteriorate. So yeah, the prognosis was, you know, we tried to get back for the World Cup. That would have been 3 to 4 months after the accident. And I guess we all thought that was possible, but it soon realised that that probably wasn't. It's very difficult because everyone reacts so differently. You'll go through the SCAT test and they'll diagnose concussion. You almost get tarnished with the same brush, even though someone could be maybe back within a couple of weeks and just maybe have a few headaches, and someone could be, you know, hospitalised and at the other extreme. That's where I think sometimes the injury is a little bit misunderstood. I'll just say it's very challenging, it's very isolating. When I first was struggling quite a bit with day-to-day stuff, it would be in dark rooms, barely getting around my flat. Out of the whole injury, that first month was probably the most traumatising time, purely because you've gone from being an Olympic athlete to then not being able to lift my head off the pillow, everything's spinning, and you're just not really sure when it's going to end. My day-to-day kind of progressed to maybe I'd go to the shop. That'd be the one thing I did that day. Not watching TV, I had to colour in books, trying just basically not to stimulate anything. With my cardiovestibular system, everything you're looking at has to be processed. And when it's damaged, it doesn't like what it sees. So everything I'm looking at, if anything's moving, or if anything's too bright or too much for it, it will then just trigger off the headaches or trigger off you feeling sick. So I'm hoping that's where I can make some progress. Trying to get out the house more, trying to be able to cross the road and see properly. Like, all these things were so difficult. It was quite frightening not to be able to do just basic, simple tasks that you do every single day. I still sometimes think about it, but they are becoming more normal. It's just taking time. I know everyone obviously presents differently. I guess my main problems were headaches, like feeling drunk, feeling dizzy, feeling very sick. I mean, this was like every day. It just didn't go. It never went, and you just have to learn to live with it. Noise sensitivity and light sensitivity, and kind of feeling like you're very slowed down and that you can't focus. Those things slowly sort of get better. But what I found is that the headaches and the dizziness and the feeling drunk and that sort of stuff is the stuff I've really struggled with since day one, and they're still with me now. I'm happy that I can now be outside. I can now go and speak to people in a slightly busy environment and tolerate it. It's just a process of self-healing, and I've been told that every injury has its course to run. I've trialled numerous medications to try and mainly limit the chronic headaches. That was quite debilitating in itself, regardless of all the other things that came with it. Some of them have mildly helped, but then you obviously get side effects with them, and the side effects then outweigh the point in taking them because it just exacerbates my other symptoms. The only thing that you can really do is rest. That's kind of how I've had to learn to manage it, is by assessing exactly how I feel, exactly whether I think it's at a level that I should be at out of the house or not out of the house, whether I should be trying to swim or not trying to swim, and throwing in just loads of rest. I want to play sport, I want to go to the gym, I want to lift 100 kilograms, I want to do everything I used to do, but I can't, and I need to be honest with myself, because otherwise it will just prolong the issues more and more. So you have to take it very slowly, each step at a time, knowing that in the long run that's the best thing you can, that's the only thing you can focus on, and then just pray. I've seen headache specialists, balance specialists, like neurologists, so a number of people externally to try and figure out what the best path is to obviously solve the problems. Sometimes they can't even give you the answers that you want. So yeah, it's been quite challenging, but then I've really appreciated being able to see the right people so quickly and get the best advice I can to try and help myself. I just think everyone's still in that boat of learning and trying to figure out about the brain and about the neural system and about how it all works, and trying to find solutions. So yeah, we're very lucky as athletes. I didn't really know what to do. You feel a bit meaningless, and that because you're so isolated, you kind of feel like you're outside, out of mind, and it all just kind of takes a very big impact on your mental well-being. I know that one of my big struggles through this has been my mental health, and that's quite difficult to talk about because no one wants to admit when they're vulnerable. And that's probably why I shut myself off from a lot of people last year, is because I didn't want people to see me in that way. Like, I want them to see me on a pitch and winning and trying my hardest. I don't want them to see me not being able to walk properly or sleeping all day. I guess the bottom line is just accepting that you're injured. It's hopefully temporary, you'll make a full recovery, but you've just got to be patient. And in the meantime, if that means you can't play the sport you love, or you can't go to birthday parties, or you can't go and see your friends, then that's something you've got to deal with as best you can, without making it go the way I kind of went, which was into a very dark place. But I feel like I've come out the other side now, learning more about myself and understanding how to deal with very challenging situations. To be honest, it won't really change much in the next couple of months. I can plan a bit more now, whereas that never used to be on the cards. I still now have to wake up and see how I feel and then review my whole day. So I might have something planned to do, like go for a swim. But if I wake up obviously not feeling very well, then I have to adjust the whole day. But it doesn't stop that I want to get back to playing hockey, and I've still got that in the back of my head that of course I'm driven for that. I guess I've kind of accepted the place I'm at, and I've accepted that my health has to be a priority. I think my perspective has changed a lot, and all the things that I felt I used to get worried about, obviously it was all encompassed in performance and what we do here. And it's not until you get injured or something big happens that you then realise life is a little bit short. Is it not more important that I'm well and healthy? Normally my mentality is about pushing myself, and it doesn't matter if you're in pain and you're hurting because you're trying to make gains. You then flip it to almost the opposite and go, if I was to live like this forever with how I am currently, a lot of things would have to change. When I'm ready, then I'll make my comeback. But until that point, it has to be health first and making sure that I'm in the best place possible. I mean, friends and family they've been there since day one, so they understand the whole thing. It's been very difficult for me to open up to them about it all. There's things that I've not wanted to tell them, and I haven't probably till recently. When you are in such a bad way, sometimes you don't want people to know. So yeah, friends and family have been a lifesaver for me to keep me going, keep me positive. And if you don't have people like that around you, it becomes very overwhelming, because all you do is spiral in your own thought process of you're unwell, you're in pain, you can't get out, you can't see your friends, and it just becomes a very isolated world. Yeah, I think now that the awareness is building, and obviously 10 years ago I don't even think concussion would have been a thing. I think now sports are becoming more strict on it, and we've seen it on football games and other sports where you can see that they've had to go off and get checked, or they do it on the pitch. I do think that now there's more awareness there and understanding of what can happen, that now players are going to be more looked after. And not even just the initial thing, it's like, okay, you've got concussion, it's like, now what? Who are you going to go and see, or what medication will help, what therapy will help? It's more, I think it'll probably become a bit more holistic. So I guess part of the reason I wanted to speak about this was because I feel like if I share this story and what it's been like, it'll maybe help other people understand the complexity around concussion, and that it's not one-dimensional with it's just headaches or it's just sickness. It's kind of, there's so many factors that can be affected, and it can be very dangerous. I feel like if people understand those risks and the importance of looking after yourself on a sports field, then it means you can kind of keep a lookout for each other. I think that's the most important thing. Like, I think you just need to be honest. If you're not feeling quite right, I think you should have the ability to say that without feeling like you're sounding weak or anything. We're so driven just to carry on and go through pain, but it's now really important that we don't do that, especially with head injuries, and that we really look after each other and make sure our teammates, if you've seen something, go and get checked out.